All right, and we're back. Thank you for standing by. Thank you for standing by, my friends. As I predicted, the game did crash while I was away. That happens when you let Game Boy Color games idle. I think it's something to do with the flash cart that I use. Um, if I let it doesn't happen with Game Boy Advance games, but Game Boy Color games, if I let them idle on the Game Boy player, they will crash after a few minutes. It's really weird. But it's alright, we have a password. It's not like I was making much progress anyway, right? I'll just punch this in. Let me reset the audio. That sounds quite a bit off. That should do it. And yeah, Tuesday, if you want to share your news with me, you can. Just as long as you're sure it's nothing, yeah, political or attached to any like potentially inflammatory, like religious or cultural topic, which I wouldn't really expect of you. I don't expect it's anything like that, but people don't often ask to share news, so I figure it's probably good to state my expectations anyway. uh, then, yeah, go ahead, Tuesday. I'm guessing snow, Cow says. That would be some great news. That would be some great news. Alright, hopefully, maybe that little break reset my mind. Maybe I'll play better now. You know what I was thinking while I was away on break? You know what I was thinking? I was thinking maybe I won't continue this playthrough right away. Maybe I'll put a channel point redeem. What do you say, like 25,000 points to schedule an Evel Knievel night on the stream for the upcoming week? So, like, say you redeemed it tonight, then I would guarantee that I would play Evel Knievel for one night next week, and then that way I can make it the chat's fault if I never return to this game and finish it. uh, no, I wanted to keep playing it, but you guys just wouldn't spend the points. Oh. It's wholly unrelated to these topics. There's an ongoing global IT outage caused by an issue in a piece of software from a cybersecurity group. It's nothing severe. Nothing important is down, but airports are handwriting boarding tickets, and you have to pay with cash at supermarkets for the moment. Oh, wild! It sounds like a very mild version of like what everyone was expecting with the Y2K. It's like, I mean, that's obviously not good. I mean, you said it's not severe, so I'm not going to be worried. I probably wouldn't be worried anyway. The stream's still live, right? So, nothing too important's down. uh, I don't know. That's kind of wild. That's all that news. I don't know. That's exactly what I thought. Yeah, it reminded me of Y2K. It's like it's almost nostalgic to hear in a way. It's weird. uh, You underestimate people's craftiness, people will find the points. I have no doubt, cows. I have no doubt. Have you tried tuning your bike yet? Yeah, I've tried that. I've tried that a little bit, Zergling. Um, I feel like I don't want to mess with that too much. I just kind of just want to play on normal settings. The tuning your bike thing, I think, is basically this game's equivalent of like a difficulty slider. I actually thought about turning everything all the way down to give myself the worst bike possible to play the game on hard mode, but I think if you play like this, that some of the levels might be physically impossible. Because the first level had a loop, and I didn't try it a whole lot, but my immediate impression was that the loops seem to actually not be possible with everything turned all the way down. I'm driving more like Dr. Evil now. Dr. Evil was able to get more air than I'm able to get. Dr. Evil was not this weighty. One of those stats has greatly reduced my ability to get air. And yeah, like I'm just stuck here. There's no way out of this pit. It could make for an interesting, well, it really wouldn't make for an interesting playthrough, because I think if you just destroy everything like this, I think that it does become impossible. But yeah, I think the best move, like I think the most like Frownie move is to just leave everything normal and just not give myself the advantage of tuning my bike. Y2K fashion is back, Cal says. Now we're bringing back computers being on the fritz, too. Two stages said, I don't know if I read that comment before, but that's exactly what I thought in regard to like the Y2K thing. It's Y2K too. To Y2K. I did actually think about, though, like, a little bit more serious version of what I said with the Evel Knievel for like a channel points redemption. I have thought about um, starting up a playthrough of like a game where you need to check in regularly, like something like a Tamagotchi game or Animal Crossing or Seaman, and like, you know, putting in like the sort of startup time for the game for like a week, and then making like regular check-ins a channel point redemption, so that like it becomes, so that it kind of does become the chat's responsibility, like if we did Seaman, to make it the chat's responsibility to keep Seaman alive by redeeming channel points for check-ins. Or like to, you know, or like to schedule visits to our Animal Crossing village or something like that. I thought that could be a fun way to use some channel points. That would be so stressful, Cal says. Well, it'd give people something else to do with their channel points. Some of those are tough. I think Animal Crossing would probably be the smartest one, because that game doesn't require daily check-ins. Those other examples, I think if you don't check in daily, they're pretty much toast. Seaman, that's an interesting game. Game and Fit says, I actually have the microphone for Seaman. Oh, you know what? I don't. I have the thing that lets you plug a microphone into the Dreamcast controller. I don't actually have the microphone, but I think you can use any old 3.5mm input microphone. I think. So I think we could do Seaman. I'd need a copy of the game, but I believe Dreamcast games are very easy to get a hold of. Even though they're on discs, I think. If I understand correctly, you can get a hold of them pretty easily. Hey, Spyman J, welcome in. The Ernie Devlin game? Is that Evel Knievel's birth name? Or is I don't recognize that name, so is that another famous or it could be another famous Daredevil. Now, please don't make us murder a Tamagotchi. I'd cry, Cal says. Alright, well, I think that idea has been vetoed then. Maybe we'll do Animal Crossing, though. Like I said, that's a little bit less stress. You know. If you take a week or so off of Animal Crossing with no check-ins, nothing real bad's gonna happen, I think. What? I don't understand, Spyman J. I don't follow at all. You've made a reference or something that's too much of a deep cut for me. I don't follow. Devlin was a cartoon based on Knievel and spoofed hard on Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't follow. I just didn't follow at all. Hot meat sandwich mix. Animal Crossing isn't setting us up for murder. Maybe some weeds, but not killing a beloved stream pet. All right. I'll avoid the high pressure. I'll avoid the high pressure. We still might do a playthrough of something. You know, we still could do a playthrough of something like that, like Tamagotchi or Seaman. But I'll bear the weight of the responsibility for our pet's fate. You're busy landing on your head, it's okay. Yeah, that's all I do in this one. That's all I do in this one is land on my head. It's a tough game. I'm only on level 2. I've been playing this game for 4 hours tonight, and I'm on level 2. I've beat exactly one level. I don't know if you were here for any of the Austin Powers Dr. Evel Knievel playthrough, but this is going about as well as that one did. This section here is kind of my PB. That's what keeps happening to me. Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah. So I did think about that, Game and Fit. I would set the clock on my console off. So, like, if we do Animal Crossing, I'll set the clock in my console. Like, we won't do any time travel, but I will set the clock off so that, like, midnight would be like, or sorry, like noon would be like 9 p.m. I think is what I thought would be a good time. So if we did it on the stream, we would always be here in the afternoon. And then if I really needed to be here in the morning, we could do an earlier stream, and I could still work around it. I did think about that. I'm an expert on Tamagotchi now. I just murdered mine. No. It threw me a birthday party too, so I feel extra bad. Oh, Game and Fit. My first one lived happily ever after, decided to pick up his handkerchief and stick, and head out on a new adventure. Oh, I didn't know they abandoned you at the end of their playthrough. I didn't know the game would throw a second one at me against my will. Well, you did so well with the first. It needed your services once again. So I had a generic Tamagotchi back when they were the thing. Mine was a cat, and I think at the end of its cycle, I think it gave birth to a new kitten and died at the end of its cycle. So it functionally restarted. I think was the way that it worked. So kind of the same thing. Oh, we have a raid coming in. Very nice. Hey, Natto, thank you for the raid. Direwolf, welcome in. Always a pleasure to see you, friend. So I was watching Natto's stream earlier, playing Rad Racer on the NES and running Metroid speedruns. I believe was the business. Elmac, welcome in. I didn't get to see. I didn't get to see. Hey, Markaloo, welcome in. Thank you for coming along. I didn't get to see how Rad Racer wrapped. Natto, did you conquer it, or is that still on the to-do list? And tell us how the Metroid runs went. Love to hear that as well. Finn, welcome in. Thank you for coming along. While we chat a moment, my friends, use the link there. Click through to Natto's page and give him a follow. He's got a fantastic stream, one of my absolute favorites. He is a super chill and friendly streamer. Does mostly it's like me. Does mostly retro stuff with occasional newer games. He did Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch, and there's a lot of talk about Dark Souls 3 coming up in his chat. So if you're a Souls fan, you might be able to help the rest of his chat bully him into starting Dark Souls 3 soon. When it's on sale sometime. But I highly recommend a Natto stream. Not yet. Still on the to-do list. Made a few stages progress, though. Good to hear. Big progress on Super Metroid. Oh, no big progress. I read that wrong. A reasonable run and lots of practice. All practice is progress. Welcome back, Omega. Not feeling good. Throat's dry. Oh. I'm sorry to hear that, Omega. Stay strong, my friend. I'm certainly wishing you well. I'm grinding on Demon Souls this whole time. I'm so exhausted, Game and Fit says. How's Evil doing today? Well, so this is Evel Knievel, my friends. This is on the Game Boy Color. If you're not familiar with my stream, this is what we do around here. I'm Frownie, of course. I'm overwhelmingly a retro streamer, but I do play newer things from time to time. Usually on the Switch, though we are going to play Dark Souls 2, speaking of Dark Souls, next month. Gonna do a playthrough of that. I have a very strict blind playthrough style. I try to do everything without doing any research, looking anything up. I never want any hints, help, suggestion, advice, reminders, guesses. It's a very bad way to play games. I frequently don't know what's going on, and I'm struggling and suffering. But it's sometimes magical, and that makes it worthwhile. Because sometimes we have really mind-blowing moments of discovery where I big brain something or do it in a very weird way. Or sometimes I'll complete a whole game and my first playthrough is an accidental challenge run because I didn't figure out some fundamental useful mechanic and still somehow managed to beat the whole game. I like brutally difficult platformers like Contra and Castlevania and Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Sometimes we do challenge runs of that kind of stuff to do it deathless or no items or whatever seems most appropriate. And I love janky, broken trash games like what we're playing tonight. This game is some of the finest licensed janky trash you can find out there. I've been playing it for 4 hours and I'm only on level 2. We try to have mostly a pretty laid back stream. I'm usually here in the late night hours, though I'm moving toward more frequent, occasional, sort of earlier afternoon and evening streams in the mix as well. Most of what you see and hear around here is going to be pretty family friendly. We do occasionally play M-rated games, but they're kind of rare, and I tend to give a pretty good heads up about them. So it's hopefully you'll find a good place to relax, unwind, and forget your cares while someone else takes the wheel and does all the suffering. Jank souls. Let me catch up here real quick. I have a spoiler for you. It's a video game. Oh, no. Finn, I was hoping to figure that out on my own. I'll be keeping you in the background a bit. Domestic Nano needs to handle some things around the house. Hey, no worries. Thank you for the raid, my friend. Always enjoy having you come by, and we will endeavor to take very good care of your people. Careful there with the spoilers, Cal says. So currently the things we're working on the stream, it's the month of July. The month of July is the month of Jankuli around here. I try to lean real heavily into the more bottom of the barrel type games. We just finished marathons of every Wipeout game on the Wii. And that's Wipeout the game show, not Wipeout the racing games. There are 4 of those on the Wii, and I 100%ed all of them. We completed all 3 of the Lizzie McGuire games on the GBA. And I'm currently working on this, Tom and Jerry on the NES, and Home Improvement on the Super NES. And Tom and Jerry's the best of them, but it's brutally difficult. Home Improvement is really interesting. And actually pretty good as well. But super difficult. And kind of janky. And this game is just impossible. Yeah, so I started by doing Jankuary in January, but it just wasn't enough. One overwhelmingly janky month a year could not satisfy my appetite. So we do Jankuary and Jankuli. This game is just impossible. I've actually already beaten an entire game that's just like this, by the way. So this game here, Evel Knievel on the Game Boy Color, this was made by Tarantula Studios, and they are a part of Rockstar. like Red Dead, GTA, Rockstar. And they made this game, and at some point, they took this game and they reskinned it and re-released it as an Austin Powers game called Dr. Evel Knievel. It's in a Game Boy Color game called Austin Powers Welcome to My Underground Lair. It's virtually identical. It's a little bit abridged from what I can tell. In the Austin Powers version, they cut some levels out, but it's the same awful physics. At least some of the maps are one-for-one identical. So it's virtually the same game. But I played that one in January, and I completed it. It took 38 hours. It was a 15-level game, and it took me 38 hours to get through them all. And like some of them I could do like within about an hour or so, pretty quickly. And then other ones I was stuck on for like 7 or 8 hours at a time. There would be nights we'd do a whole stream and I'd be on one single level for the whole night and not even beat it. But somehow I managed to stick with it, and we actually conquered it. And because I was able to beat that one, I said, you know what? In 6 months, when we do another Jank Marathon, I'll play Evel Knievel as well. And tonight has been spent largely regretting that decision. Because we're, like I said, we're 4.5 hours in, and I'm on level 2. It's just like last time. I'm not making any progress. So depending on your tolerance for tedium and boredom, you may have picked a very excellent night or a very horrible night to join the stream. If you're here right now. But this is a good chance for me to demonstrate what I think has become my defining characteristic as a streamer. I am not a particularly clever or skilled or talented man, but I have a deep, bottomless well of persistence. I have such an extremely high persistence stat that it makes all of my regular chat members wish I would give up more often. What a terrible night for some jank, Gaming Fit says. I haven't uploaded it yet, but Jelly made us yet another emote, and it's one I don't think is going to get a lot of use. But she made us another emote, and she's working on yet another one, and like we're really close to being in the situation where we have so many emotes that we can't keep them all available simultaneously anymore. Yeah, we're gonna have to hold some sort of like, we're gonna have to figure out a way to hold like some sort of like Hunger Games for the emotes, so they can so we can whittle them down to only the strongest members. An emote vote, yeah. I can probably put up I can probably just put them up as like a poll in the Discord, but I don't think we can put animated emotes in the Discord, right? So those will the animated emotes will be at a strong disadvantage if we do like a poll to vote for our selections, because they're not going to really be able to display their full worth. Yeah. I would have to, I'd have to post them as a still image, like freeze them at like their best representative frame, and then yeah, just note that they're animated. It's not yeah, like that'll be okay. It's not perfect, but I get the idea across. Show them off on the stream and clip them. I could do something like that. We're not gonna do that for a while though, because Jelly's still putting together lots of different ones. So I'd want to wait until she's exhausted all of our ideas. See that level 1? That's the only one I've completed. I've been on this Las Vegas strip for 3.5 hours. You can upload moving emotes to Discord, but I've never done it myself, so I'm not sure how it works exactly. Oh, well, maybe. You think maybe that's a feature of like the Discord? What's it called where you pay for like the premium Discord? Discord Turbo, or is that Twitch? Nitro. That's it. Discord Nitro. Maybe it's a feature of that. Which I have, so if you remember, we can chat about that in the DMs when it's convenient for you to try and get it sorted. Alright, well thank you, Cows. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. I don't know if I'd be able to take advantage of your subscription, but we could definitely investigate if you're willing to check it out. I would assume the person that created the server would have to have the Nitro to make it work, but I don't know. Gonna get back to sleep. Leave an alert for you. Hey, thank you, Finn. Appreciate the lurk. Very much. I hope that you sleep well and have a wonderful tomorrow. We're gonna go for about 50 more minutes. We'll go until about 5 a.m. And then I gotta throw in the towel. We've got one more stream this week. It's tomorrow, and it's one of those early streams that I was talking about. I'm not sure what we're going to do tomorrow. It's going to be a surprise. Probably something on the retro console, so not Jump King. Although Jump King needs and deserves some time. It probably won't be that, because I don't think I want to hook the Switch up. So we'll see. I'll probably pick something new that I think I can do in an afternoon. And I'll probably be wrong about it, and then I'll have yet another game to live with on the schedule permanently. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And next week, we'll be doing more Tom and Jerry Home Improvement. Probably more of this. Oh. Not the practice stage. Not the practice stage. I really am gonna need this to be the hardest level in the game, please. I have my doubts that level 2 is the hardest level in the game, but if there's one tougher than this out there, I don't want to play it. I hope for everyone's sake it is, Cal says. It's that time of night once again. I'm going to be heading off, Cal says. Good night, my friend. I will hopefully see you next week. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I always appreciate you being here for us, Cows. Be well until next time. Haven't had any of this coffee. I got this coffee. Got this coffee so long ago and forgot to drink any of it. Good luck with not falling on your head too much. I mean, if I'm gonna fall, I should try and land on a part of my body that's not all that valuable. And you know, I think my brain's pretty high on that list of things that already don't function so well. I learned exactly one useful thing for my entire Dr. Evel Knievel playthrough, and that's you have greater influence over the rotation of your bike when you tap the inputs on the D-pad rather than hold them. Like if I make a jump, you know, like if I jump in the air, I want to pull back so that I raise my front wheel, right? So that I get a better angle for landing. But like I don't want to hold left on the D-pad. I want to rapidly tap left on the D-pad if I'm trying to pull back, because the game responds better that way. For whatever reason, tapping the buttons work better than holding the button, at least for your rotation. As you can see, I rotate in ways I don't want to and fall over all the time anyway. So it's at best, it's making a horrible situation just a little less bad. So it's not that great of a tip, but it's like, it's all I got. It's the only thing I learned. Everything else is just so much nonsense and bad luck. I simply cannot believe there's a person alive out there that is actually skilled at this game. It's at times like this where I think I really should have picked something less repetitive and boring. I should have picked something less tedious and frustrating. We should have chosen to do a playthrough of something like Desert Bus. I think I'd be having more fun. I knew I wasn't going to get out of that situation alive. I knew that wasn't going to work. I wanted it to, but oh my goodness, you get caught between some of these little hills, and there's no series of inputs that you can make. No, no, no. Yes. Oh no, I wasn't where I thought I was. No. That's the furthest we've made it in a long time. Holding up okay. Throat is not the best, but I'll be okay. Good to hear you're going to be okay, Omega. Fortunately, it's been quite a while since I've been sick with anything really serious myself. Just gotta relax. I recommend not playing Evel Knievel to relax. This game is the opposite of relaxing. In every way. Oh, I'm just not getting anywhere. I'm just not getting anywhere. I haven't become even the least bit more consistent with this level. Every single attempt is it's just a roll of the dice. I don't have any control over my destiny. I have no influence over what's happening. I'm just waiting to get the lucky run where the game forgets to topple me over. Other than that, I'm not really doing anything. It's just, I'm just on autopilot pretty much. It's one of those games where, like, I could just close my eyes and randomly hit buttons, and I would have just as good of a chance of making it. How far did I make it? I actually did look away and drive that time. But I looked up too late. I didn't get to see how far I got. This level says it's easy. I want to go ahead and skip to level 3, but there's no sense in giving up on this one if I'm just going to have to come back to it. These rings are annoying. These rings right at the beginning. I complained about them earlier because you don't actually go through the rings, you go beside the rings. And, like, it's just a sign of the creator's laziness that they couldn't even invent a ring that you could drive through. But they don't do anything for you. They don't give you any, like, points. They don't give you any health or gas or... And, like, I know those options aren't, like, realistic, but I don't know, the ring... If you're gonna bother to put the rings there, like, have them do something. And even if they don't do anything, at least have the ability to drive through them. It's not that I'm being nitpicky, it's that there's no aspect of this game about which you cannot complain. That's the thing, is I'm not nitpicking, it's just every aspect of this game is worthy of ridicule. Welcome back, Spewer. You're working? Right on. Hope that's going smoothly for you. Always glad when I can share a laugh. I really wish I wasn't the kind of person that played this kind of game. What must it be like? What must it be like? What must it be like to be somebody else? Somebody who wouldn't waste so much of their life subjecting themselves to this kind of game. Oh. I see only pain, Frownie. Hey, Shadow, welcome in. Good to see you. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. I was severely disappointed earlier tonight when I put this game on and it didn't crash. I was really hoping that this one wasn't gonna be functional, so I'd have an excuse to avoid it. But of all the games to work just fine, it had to be this one. If I ever wanted a broken game before, tonight was the night. Alas. But we'll hang in there. We'll hang in there. We'll stick with it for a while. I had hoped that this wasn't going to be exactly like Dr. Evel Knievel. I had really hoped it wasn't going to be exactly the same. I thought, like, surely the full official release, like the original game, surely it wouldn't be an unbearable just like spike in the brain to play, and sadly, I was wrong. It is essentially the same. This version does control a little better, but the thing is, this level is so much harder than what was in the other game that even though it does control a little better, it's outweighed by the design of this level being so much more devastating. This is only stage 2. I've been at it for 5 hours, and I'm only on stage 2. And I've been here basically the whole night. I beat stage 1 really quick because of the better controls, but also because stage 1 is an exact... Stage 1 was exactly duplicated in Dr. Evel Knievel. It was a board that I'd already seen 1-for-1 in the other game. They didn't change anything about the layout. This board had no equivalent in the other game. This is completely new to me, and it's such a simple board, but it's also just impossible. Because it's so horizontal, it looks like it should be easy, but every spike, it's just like every spike has a 50-50 chance of killing me. And, you know, it's like I'm sitting here trying to flip a coin and have it come up on heads 1,000 times in a row. It's just not gonna happen, right? That's how they get you? What, by making the controls just slightly better? Oh, thinking this one would be better. Yeah, I really thought that they had intensified. I'd really thought they'd intensified the jank for the Dr. Evel version. But it's all here. It's all here. All the jank is here. This will probably be a once a week kind of game. For however long it stays on our schedule. It's not a game like Jump King where like playing it a little bit every night would make me better at it. As you can see, there's just I've been playing only this level all night, and I'm not getting any better at it. So we'll just throw away one stream every week for this game, I guess. until I beat it, or until I crack. Well, I missed the one up. I missed the one up, but I'm not going back for it. I'm probably gonna die anyway, so it won't really matter to have it. And it's better that I don't, because then I get to restart more quickly and have a full set of lives instead of just one extra one. This is gonna sound sick, Shadow says, but watching this makes me want to try it. I am not surprised, Shadow. You and I are kind of cut from the same cloth in our taste in games. It seems. I watch you suffer with something, it makes me want to play it. It only seems fair that you should want to play the things I suffer with. If you do, maybe don't tell me. If you do, maybe don't tell me how quickly you beat it. I don't know if my heart could take it. I'm still hoping to get my hands on a copy of that Barbie Explorer game. Just make sure you record your reaction. Shadow does stream. I haven't caught him live in a while, but I can recommend, if you are not familiar with Shadow's streams, making yourself familiar with them via that link there. Yeah. I've been using EverDrives. I didn't for a long time. Just because I didn't have one for a long time, and they're kind of pricey investments to, to pick up for multiple platforms. So I was saving up for a long while, but I have a few EverDrives now, and yeah, I like them. They're not the most powerful top of the line ones. They're a generation or two older than the fanciest versions. So I get so my options with them are a little bit more limited than they might otherwise be, but they're good. They serve me really well. I like owning and collecting original carts. But I mean, really, I have a lot of physical retro games just because I started collecting real early. Everything, all this stuff used to be cheap when I was buying it. I started building up an NES and a Super NES library in the early days of the Nintendo 64, and everyone thought that NES and Super NES games were trash back then. You could get whole, giant boxes of them for just a few dollars. Sometimes people just throw them away. You get them for free. So I built up all my collection way back then. I built up my collection all way back then when stuff was dirt cheap. If I'd gotten into retro stuff later, I wouldn't have hardly anything that I own physically now. I still do buy physical games from time to time, but now the kind of stuff that I buy is janky garbage games that, again, are still dirt cheap because no one wants them. And because I think they'd be funny to play on the stream. We just played, oh, welcome in, True Kin Man, good to see you. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people they tell me this game is like Happy Wheels or it's like Trials, and I actually don't really know either game. Just I just know of them from people telling me this looks like them. I can't. I would really hope that they're not this bad though. Oh, but like we just played all those Lizzie McGuire games, and we played them. Like I picked those because I own them physically. Like I found this the set of them. I'm like, that's a big influence on me for like what I play on the stream. Is especially if I can find a set of like licensed games that look like trash, then I'm really likely to pick them up if there's more than one. Because it's amusing to me to play multiples of some licensed title. Like we did a marathon of ET games just because I was shocked at how many ET games existed. But yeah, the flash carts, the EverDrives are really good. They're very convenient. There's millions of priceless carts rotting in landfills, I'm certain. Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, and I don't see that's the thing is like box copies being super expensive and stuff like that. I don't collect there's nothing in my collection that I have to collect or to speculate on. Like I don't buy stuff for its collector value or resale value, and I really don't care about like the game box is worthless to me. Like I everything I buy, I want to have it to play. And so like all I care about is does it work? And it can be ugly, it can be damaged, and have the sticker peeled off, it can have Sharpie and Blockbuster labels on it. Like, I don't care about any of that stuff. And in fact, I'll pay more for an ugly copy, or sorry, I'll gladly pay for a more ugly copy if it lets me save a few dollars. Um, like, all I care is it functional? That's all that matters. Loose carts, loose discs. That's my zone. I will sometimes if I can get a copy that has a manual, I might pay a little extra to have the manual. Even though I never read them. The manual is like hypothetically a little valuable, like because it has content about the game that might not be in the game. So I will sometimes pay a little extra to get a manual, but a box? No way. I'm gonna redo all my cart labels myself. When I was in 8th grade, people in my class are getting rid of their Super Nintendo and Genesis games as PlayStation 1 and N64 are really taking off. I ran a sort of black market trading ring. So-and-so had a game someone else wanted. I worked out who wanted what down the line. Usually got a game or two for cheap or free out of it. Oh, nice. So, when I was real little, my dad had a Commodore 64. So all the first video games I ever played were Commodore 64 games. And then we got an Atari 2600 at some point. But I don't remember anything about it, really, other than owning it. Like, I don't even remember what games we had. I just know we had it. It was that model with the wood grain stickers on it. And we had the paddle controllers, like for tennis or racing games. But I don't know, I didn't play it much or what. I just don't really remember any of the games. And then at some point we got an NES. I think it was fairly late into the NES's life. But I'm not sure. But we got an NES, and the Atari went away. I don't know what happened to it. My parents gave it to a friend or sold it or something. I don't know. We got an NES and the Atari was gone. And then same thing happened. We got a Super Nintendo, and when we got a Super Nintendo, the NES was gone. And I never knew what happened to it and didn't really care at the time. I don't know what to do about that ending there. That's my PB. That's the furthest I've ever been in this stage, by the way. I've been there once before and still don't know what to do. And then after we got the Super Nintendo, I never got rid of anything ever again. And we kept getting... It was always only Nintendo stuff. I had all the Nintendo consoles and handhelds, like up through the GameCube, pretty much. And I kept all those. But we'd gotten rid of our NES and all the games. But I replaced those. Because when the Nintendo 64 came out, around that same time, I was like... I really wanted to have an NES again for some reason, and I don't even know why. So I bought an NES from one of my classmates for like $20. He gave me his NES with the controllers and the light gun and a handful of games. I don't remember what all. It had the 3 Mario games and I think like 2 others. Oh. Part of it. So part of the reason, I think, though, that made me want an NES was there was a drugstore in town and they had a glass case. And they had NES games in that glass case in the drugstore. And I remember when I went in there, I would see those. And I think that's what did it. What made me think, wow, those old games are cool. I would, I'd like to get those. But I needed the NES, so I bought one from my classmate. And then I started buying those games out of the case at the drugstore. And some of the first things I bought Legacy of the Wizard, and I bought Castle Quest, and I bought Predator, and I barely played any of them. Because I was terrible at them, and they were janky and confusing. And I don't know what I liked about them, because I kept buying all these games from the drugstore, and I hated every one of them. But I kept getting more. And then it was just like, I started seeing Super Nintendo games cheap, and then when the GameCube came out, Nintendo 64 games were cheap for a while, and so that was just it. Like, I was building up that stuff, and I never had any Sony or Sega stuff, but one of my friends, when he got a PlayStation 2, he gave me his PS1, and then I found a Genesis at a thrift shop for like $5, and then I found another one, and then I found another one, and I've got like 4 Genesis consoles, and I don't think I paid more than $5 or $10 for any of them. And I was like, well, now I have these Genesis consoles, it's time to start collecting Genesis games. And at some point, like a couple years after the GameCube came out, I went to college, and I really stopped playing anything new at all. And I mean, like, new to me. The only games I really played were, like, Super Nintendo games that I already, like, knew and loved. Like, I would replay stuff like Star Fox and Yoshi's Island and Zombies Ate My Neighbors over and over again. But really wouldn't play anything new. But I kept buying games. I stopped playing games, but I never stopped buying them. So my collection just kept growing more and more out of control. But it was stuff... Like, I had like 70 Genesis games. And I'd never played a single one. So, that went on for years. Until I started doing the stream and finally, like, making up for lost time. But, like, pretty much almost every Genesis game I've ever played in my life, like, has been presented live through this stream. Ken is the retro goat, Spewer says. I didn't like Atari until I discovered Missile Command. The Atari 2600 is surprisingly fun. I always underestimate it. I'm always like, I have a 2600 and I have a lot of games for it, and I'm always like, I never think about it when I'm like, what do I want to play tonight? I'm always like, should I play the Atari? Nah. But every time I do hook it up, I have way more fun with it than I ever expect to. You would think I would learn and I would play it more, but what's the 2600 mean? I don't know. That's just what the system's called. That's its model number or whatever. Atari, I think Atari made like a bunch of like sort of simple machines before that all had like numbers in their name. They just kept doing that for a while, because after the 2600 there's the 5200 and the 7800. But yeah, I don't know where the number comes from. I'm sure it has some meaning, probably some component inside of it. Probably some chip or something is the 2600 chip, and they just use that for the name. I don't know, though. I actually didn't play an Atari until after I got in a Super NES and Genesis. My dad had got out of the attic of his childhood home. Some of the NES games had enticing box art, so it was a trick. Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. Gonna be a long day for me, Omega says. I'm sorry to hear that, Omega. I hope you pull through. Yeah, like 150 Atari games on the Switch. Game of It says, I've heard that collection's pretty good. My favorite Atari 2600 game, if you're looking for a recommendation, my favorite Atari 2600 game is called Revenge of the Beefsteak Tomatoes. And that's not a joke, and I don't like it just because of the goofy title. I played it just because of the goofy title. But it's actually a fun game. It's pretty challenging, though. You play as a syringe, and you have to collect colored ink to build 3 brick walls of different colors. And you have to complete the brick walls before the tomatoes kill you or break them down, is the plot. I don't know. It's hard to tell what anything is on Atari, but that's what it looks like. And it's actually a fun game. It's really engaging, but it's really tough. Yar's Revenge, Game and Fit says, I played that one too. I feel like that one was alright. I don't really remember it that well, because I only played it once, but I think I do believe I had fun with that one as well. Just need water, probably lots of water. Can't go wrong there. I mean, I know technically, like, overhydration is a thing, but... Also, I think you have to go pretty far out of your way to make that happen, right? Hey, welcome in. Kyle, thank you for the raid. Pleasure to have you here. Always great to see you. McDonald's, welcome in. Thank you for joining us as well. Dino Pulse, welcome in. Is that Mock? Mock CC, welcome in. First janky Kyle raid in a bit. Always glad to have a janky Kyle raid come in. I have long hair, right on. I had long hair once upon a time. Very long time ago. My hair's rather thin now. Things have changed. Welcome in Double C. Thank you for joining us. Is that Austin Power? It's that Austin Powers game. Yeah. So, Kyle played the Austin Powers games recently. Let's shout out to Kyle, by the way, at Janked Jesus. If you are somehow, some way, not already following Kyle, I encourage you to correct that situation, please. Kyle's one of the chillest, friendliest streamers out there. He's got a fantastic stream, a deep love of jank. You cannot go wrong. Hopefully that worked. Started out doing Jank Quest, moving over to PlayStation 1 variety, playing Toe Ball number 1. Hopefully that treated you well. Austin Powers video comes out tomorrow. So I had to see more of the game the devs reskinned. Could I get a link to that too? Let me see. I know you said it comes out tomorrow, but let me see if I can pull up your channel here real quick. It is just YouTube at Jank Jesus, right? There you go, my friends. If you missed Kyle's Austin Powers stream, even if you didn't, avail yourselves of that link, and you can check out his video on Austin Powers tomorrow. Mine's thinning. In about 10 years, I may be there too. Hopefully not, but you know, the clock only moves in one direction, so whatever happens, we just kind of have to accept it. Did a tournament road run, finally gave quest mode a chance after hearing Akira Toriyama himself was an unlockable character. That mode rules. But sadly, Kyle's yet to unlock him in Robo Toriyama form. Is it possible to have too much jankiness? Never. Played a ton of the quest mode. It's really fun, Kyle says. Right on, right on. And thank you for the follows, by the way. We had a couple new people follow. I don't usually call them out by name, but I did see them, and I'm very grateful for you joining us. So this is Evel Knievel. I was gonna say, Kyle recently suffered with the Austin Powers games, and one of them is my least favorite game of all time. Welcome to my underground lair, featuring Dr. Evel Knievel. I played through that in January, and I beat that whole game on hard difficulty. And yes, I'm bragging, because it was 38 hours of torment. It was the worst 38 hours of my life. I've had my home burglarized, and I would rather have that happen again than live through Welcome to My Underground Lair a second time. Maybe not, but it was horrible. It was horrible. But I decided I would I decided I would have to play the source material. It just crashed. Hang on, let me reset it. Because none of those Austin Powers games aren't original. Tarantula never had an original thought in their mind. And so when they went to make the Austin Powers games, they went and all they did was recycle their older games. And when I found that out, I was like, well, this Dr. Evil Knievel experience I've had is so awful. Why not relive it by playing the original game? And it took me 6 months to build up the courage, but now here we are. And I've been playing it for 5.5 hours tonight, my friends, and I have cleared exactly one level. I've been on level 2. I've been on level 2 for 4.5 hours. Oh, it's unbearable. That sounds about right. Some of those levels in the Doctor Evil version, some of those levels took me they would take me 7 or 8 hours. There were a couple nights where I would stream one level the entire night and still not beat it. It's bad. Mox says I have a beard now too. Right on. I'm a fan of beards, as you may be able to tell. It's been quite a long time. I trim mine down pretty regularly. It's not always this long, but it's been several years since I've taken it off completely. And favorite band? Is that my favorite band? Oh man, that would be hard to say. I like a lot of folk type music, a lot of singer-songwriter type stuff. Iron and Wine, it's pretty good, might be my favorite. Love my beard long. I like growing it pretty long. It's been longer before, but it becomes inconvenient. It becomes inconvenient for me. Alright, so I got a password so we don't have to redo level 1. I've already redone level 1 several times tonight. Anyway. I don't often like to use passwords to circumvent limited lives in games. A lot of times, if a game has limited lives or continues, I'll usually just restart and play the whole thing over again instead of using a password. That is not a viable option with this game. If you hang around for just a moment, you'll see that's not a... You only get 5 lives, and I already burned through 2 of them on stage 1, so I start with 3 lives every time now. And, oh. Omega says, it couldn't be as bad, could it? Little did he know it was worse. So this version, the thing is, this version actually controls a little better than the Dr. Evil one. Just a little. But it doesn't matter because this level is so hard. This level is so much harder than anything in that other game. That even though the controls are slightly better, I still continue to wipe out over and over again. The first stage of this game, though, was recycled in the other one for one. The very first map in this game, I already knew completely because I was stuck on it for a couple hours in the other one. So that's part of why I beat that other one so quickly, is because it was familiar territory. uh. This is just a mess. At certain points, some games make it very clear they intend to utilize the password. Yeah. Yeah, this one, there's just no way around it. You know, and sometimes I might have to sort of like, sometimes I might have sort of have to like abuse the passwords to complete a first playthrough of a game, but then once I know all the levels, go back and do a complete like 1 credit playthrough with no passwords. But like even this, like if I make it through a level in this, it's usually just pure luck that gets me through. So there's no, I don't learn anything on my playthrough that I could use on a second one. So you're really locked in to just use the passwords or never beat the game. It's kind of like those are your only 2 choices. A beard all the way down to his belly button. That's an intense beard. That's like it's like a full wizard beard. That's your dream, to have a beard that long? I wish you luck. Happy growing. I might actually have to take my beard off in a couple months. When are you gonna go full ZZ Top beard, Nato asks? Yeah, I'm probably gonna go the opposite direction, Nato. For anyone who doesn't know, my wife and I are expecting a baby boy in October. It's gonna be our first kid, and so in October, I might actually trim the beard down way back because I don't know that I want to have like. I don't know that I want to have something hanging off my face that can be grabbed and pulled on by little baby hands. The Revenge of the Beefsteak Tomatoes looks like an interesting game. I've never heard of it until today. Thank you, Frownie, Shadow says. Oh, I hope you try it out. It's just a love pool, no problem. Having a beard grabbed by a baby isn't fun. Welcome in Retro Toaster. Yeah, that's what I anticipate. So I think I'm gonna trim it back out of harm's way in October. Oh, like Fazanadu. Making you use the passwords. Oh, yeah. Well, Nato, with an adventure game like Fazanadu, a long adventure game like that, no, 100%. Yeah, I would use the passwords. You're expected to in that, because that's not a game you're supposed to do in one sitting. I'm talking more about like stuff like Bubsy 1 or Castlevania Bloodlines. Like those are games those are games that sort of expect you to sit down and do them in one sitting, but they also have passwords. but they also have limited continues. So like you kind of have to choose, do I want to use the password to circumvent the continue system or not? And so I try to choose not to do that on my playthroughs. With a lot of games like that where you're kind of expected to do it all at once, I'd rather just replay the whole game and get better at it than use the passwords for things like that. And believe me, I'm not advocating that that's the way other people should play. My preferences, my stream is not an example. My stream is a warning. My preferences should not be imitated. I have a tendency to play games in the worst ways I can possibly think of. And I commit myself to completing some real trash that you shouldn't do this to yourself. It's not healthy. This game wants you to do it all on 5 lives. I know that because in the options menu for this, there is an option to turn your life count up to 10. But if you do that, it disables the password system. So they expect you not to use the passwords to cheese the game. They want you to, I think, they want you to beat it on just the 5 lives. But there's no way. There's no way. You're a trained professional at struggle streaming. Xanadu is a really good game, though. That's definitely one that's worth a playthrough. It's a lot of fun. If you like Zelda 2, especially, or games like Zelda 2, it's not, it's Xanadu's a lot like Zelda 2 without any of the overworld map. It's just the side-scrolling stuff. And it's a lot of fun. It's pretty cryptic. It's tough to figure some stuff out, but I believe I made it all the way through without having to get any help, so it is possible. Though maybe not the completely blind is probably not the best way to do it. I feel like Xanadu is less frustrating than Zelda 2. Yeah, it's not as hard. It's not as hard as Zelda 2. Which isn't to say it's easy. There's definitely parts where, like, you bang your head against the wall a little, but... Yeah, I would agree with you, Natto. Idea, whenever someone wants to launch a game, they should have an average Joe sit down and play it. I don't know. Yeah, I almost want to say I feel like it's unethical for a game developer to release a game that they themselves can't beat. I don't necessarily feel that way, but when I play stuff like this, I feel that way. I don't think... Because I don't believe anyone on the development team could beat this game. And if I'm wrong, I would love to be pointed to the video. Okay, that helmet there is worth going back for, because it's an extra life. Cool. There are no checkpoints on this stage. Sometimes these stages have checkpoints. If there were a checkpoint halfway through this stage, I certainly would have beaten it by now. I can't believe I would still be stuck here, but there's nothing. And it's a pretty long stage. Maybe it's not physically that long, but there's so many obstacles that you can die against, that you will die against. Is it mean that I could totally believe you're still on this stage? I mean... I don't think so. I don't know. Why is it mean? Do you think it's unreasonable that I'm still on this stage? Should I be further along? Would everyone else who plays this game be further along by now? I'm the one exception that can't clear this stage? I think my performance is pretty typical. Good luck. I'm going to head up for dinner. See you next time. We'll see you around, Natto. Thank you again for the raid. I will certainly catch you again very soon, my friend. Have a wonderful dinner. I'm a little surprised there's no upside down part. It's a deceptively tricky level. Can you imagine getting this game on Christmas morning? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've thought about that a lot. With the Austin Powers games. I was thinking about, like, imagine the nightmare scenario where, like, it's Christmas, it's Christmas morning, and, like, you wake up and your parents have bought a video game for Christmas for you and one for your brother. And your brother gets Austin Powers Oh Behave, and it's a janky game. It's not that great. But it's got a platformer in it. It's fairly decent. Nothing to write home about, but completely acceptable, completely playable. And your parents got you Austin Powers Welcome to My Underground Lair. And it has Dr. Evel Knievel in it. And you have definitive proof that your parents love your brother and hate you. Worst Christmas ever. Dinner sounds good. My gap between lunch and dinner is like 8 hours, Game and Fit says. That's a pretty extensive gap. Maybe, but I can see some people really liking a game like this. I mean, I guess. I can't wrap my head around it, but then again, you know, there are lots of people out there that like ketchup, and it sends me running from the room in terror, so. The extent to which I can wrap my mind around a phenomenon is not a good barometer upon which to judge it. Ketchup is vile. Thank you, Retro Toaster. I'm glad you get it. The Trials franchise does exist, Omega says. Some people seem to be pretty fond of that Happy Wheels game they tell me about, too. So there is a market for... Thing is, there's a market for this kind of game. I could accept that. For this specific one... I don't know. I've been grinding this whole time and I really need to stop, but I'm so close, Game and Fit says. I'll stop in 40 minutes, I swear. Happy Wheels is nostalgic. Happy Wheels was childhood. I'm really close to the level end. But the thing is, there's a huge jump at the end of the level here, and I don't know how to get up enough speed to make the jump. Well, it didn't matter, because I died. Cool. That's the third time I've been to the end of the level. Happy Wheels was ironically named. There's nothing happy about it. Levels are usually short, and I think there are checkpoints. Yeah, if it just had a checkpoint halfway through. What if it does? What if that last jump there that I think is the end is only the halfway point? You know what? That's entirely possible. I hadn't even considered the horror story I could be living through. Oh my goodness. Sometimes the ways that you die in this game are just so busted. Like when stuff like that happens. I hadn't even landed in a fatal position. It just killed me for no reason. Alright. Let's take one look at a different level. I can't stream for too much longer tonight, unfortunately. But before we call it a night, let's just see what another option looks like. This, by the way, this is completely new as well. There is no equivalent for this situation in Dr. Evel Knievel either. Okay, climbing over this barrel is a pain. Climbing over this barrel is a pain. Well, it starts off great with a jump over the tires that actually works. But it's when you have to like do this, or you have to like slowly climb over everything. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing good about this game. That first jump is amazing. It works well, it's fun. And then nothing else makes any sense for the rest of the level. Oh my goodness. No, don't tip over. We're right at another ramp. Yeah, at the end of this game, does Evel Knievel fire his agent? Will you move? Great, into the pit. So this scenario right here is just flat out impossible, by the way. There's no way I'm gonna get across that gap. This game is actually legitimately less playable than Dr. Evel Knievel. Because there are no levels like this in Dr. Evel Knievel. There is no scenario where you have to climb over barrels and random broken down cars. It's so much worse. I can't believe it. I wish I hadn't looked at that level. We're at the 6-hour mark, my friends. I'm afraid we're gonna have to end the stream here. I would like to keep going, but I am not able to, unfortunately. We'll play this game again sometime. I can't tell you exactly when. Maybe Thursday next week. I'm not 100% sure. This is going to be a game that I will try to keep chipping away at it, but we're not going to pick it up every single night. I am already saying Dr. Evel Knievel is the better version. I can't believe that's the case, but I think that's true. Good night, Jank Gang, Spear says. Good night, everybody. I'll send us off on a raid. We'll keep things moving along. Let me just see who's still around and what they're doing. That's a good thing. Frownie gets a harder challenge. Hooray. I'm very lucky. I'm very, very lucky. I don't know if the stream is ending or not. I'm gonna... can take a chance. That's a good thing. Frownie gets a harder challenge. Take care. I'll take care, Direwolf. Let's see how much hair this game causes me to lose. Yeah. Actually, you know what? We'll go this other way. Because I'm pretty sure this one isn't going to end. Good night, all. Good night, Frownie. Good night, Zergling. Casino Night Zone. Yeah, this is the whole casino world. I'm going to send this over to Mr. Suffer. Suffer's working on Adventure Island and trying to beat it deathless. I can't watch this game too closely because I haven't played it yet, and it's kind of on my to-do list, so I don't want to spoil myself, but we'll go over and wish Suffer good luck on his attempts anyway. So no nighttime stream tomorrow. We're usually a late night stream, but we're going to do it earlier tomorrow. I'm planning on showing up between 3 and 4 p.m. Central Time, somewhere in that range, and we'll go for 4 or 5 hours. So about 3 p.m. to 9 or 10 p.m. ish. I'm not sure what we're going to do tomorrow. Probably something retro. Maybe something janky, but hopefully better than this. It'll be a surprise. We'll just have to see. And all next week, I should be here most nights next week. Home Improvement on the Super NES. Tom and Jerry on the NES. Maybe some more Gravity Circuit on the Switch. Hopefully some more Jump King. No, we need a night of Jump King. And maybe we'll even have time to start up yet another new thing. We'll see how it goes. But be well, my friends. Thank you very much again for being here tonight. Thank you to our wonderful raiders and new followers and all of the fine company I've had. Be well until I get to see you again. Hopefully that time will come very soon. But we are ready to head out for tonight. Let's go on an adventure.